A massive thank you to Baship, Miro, Lucas, Mitz and Ross for subscribing to the channel. If you're already featured in these clips, make sure you subscribe down below. Hello everyone and welcome back guys to round 9 of Season 7 of the F1 2021 My Team Career Mode, where today we're here back ready in Le Castellet for the French Grand Prix. Of course, if you missed out on the last video that went live a couple of days ago from the Canadian Grand Prix, definitely recommend going back and checking that one out. As well, a massive thank you. The support so far on the F1 2022 videos has been absolutely mind-blowing. The last one of those went live yesterday. Of course, F1 2022 content will be returning, I'm sure, very, very soon there. I've had a few questions from you guys over the last couple of days asking whether I'll be doing a My Team Career Mode on the new game. Of course I will. My team is not going anywhere anytime soon. So obviously when this season finishes, we'll get ready, we'll get prepared, and then we'll jump in on F1 22 as well there. But as well, a massive thank you to all of you guys for the continued support. At the time of recording this, we're getting very, very close to 46,000 subscribers. We might have already hit it by the time this video goes live. But if not, please do make sure you leave a like and get yourself subscribed as well for daily Formula 1 content there. But yeah, trying to hit 50k at the moment, so if you could help me get one step closer, it would be greatly, greatly appreciated. But last time out then, we saw our 6th different winner of the year in the Canadian Grand Prix there. We lead the way though, 24 points clear of George Russell there. Sergio Perez still sat in P3, 9 points back from Red Bull in the Constructors' Championship as well though, so it is really, really heating up at the top of the championship. But yeah, we've had 3 wins this year. George Russell's had a win, Sergio Perez has had a win, Charles Leclerc's had a win, Lando Norris and Daniel Ricciardo have both had wins as well there. And I mean, Tsunoda's had a couple of podiums. Max Verstappen is always a very, very quick driver as well. This year, that hasn't quite gone his way so far. I think he's only scored points in half of the races. But can we see Max Verstappen try and make it 7 winners this year? Or can we try and get another win on the board? The French Grand Prix, often a good track for us. Let's get into it. Formula 1 is finally back in 2022, and now you can rep your favourite teams. Of course, using the F1 store, every team now has merch lineups available, whether you're an Aston Martin fan, a Williams fan, Mercedes, Ferrari, Red Bull, the choice is completely up to you. But yeah, check out the F1 merch store down below for all the official releases from all of the teams. And of course, as always, if you use our links as well, you massively help support the channel. So yeah, give it a look and see if there's anything you like. Well, looks like we could be in for quite a wet weekend then here from Le Castellet. A lot of changeable conditions as this weekend unfolds there, and Friday free practice is looking very, very soggy. Of course, we did a video a few days ago on F1 2022 in the Haas car racing at Kota in the heavy rain. That was good fun. Of course, if for whatever reason you missed out that video, I would definitely recommend going back and checking it out. But today though, similar monsoon style conditions. We're just going to have to be nice and easy during free practice. Don't need the R&D points. Just need to get my eye back in once more with these 2021 cars. So a lot of understeer there at nowhere. And heading down in towards the final couple of corners then. Always weird racing around a track like Le Castellet in these conditions there as we pick up our first red score of the lap. Probably only going to be the green score here, but like I said, the R&D points don't really matter. Just have to break that a little bit earlier than you'd always think to. And yeah, we only just scraped the green. Right into our tyre wear run there. Apparently the rain is meant to be stopping pretty soon, but by that point, we should hopefully be getting into qualifying then as we head through the first sector. Just keeping it tidy. I think the track might just be getting a little bit too dry for the full wet tyres here, because I had one tiny lock-up. The line went right to the bottom of the red and I could never get it back the other way again. So yeah, I think it was starting to dry up a bit too much. Never mind, let's get into qualifying. Right, well, nice sunny skies then here from Le Castellet, ready for qualifying, but unfortunately, pace is not looking brilliant here. To be honest, one of the better tracks though, if you're going to go out in Q2, French Grand Prix Circuit Paul Ricciardier is one of the best places to do it on F1. Had to use 2 sets of tyres in Q1, so going to have to go out on an old set, ready for our first run here in Q2. We just tip it in through the first couple of corners, try to attack the curbs. Oh! 160 mile an hour there. The back end tried to break free, but we only just keep it in check and, far more importantly, kept the foot in First lap, though, like I said, is going to be a bit of a banker. But second lap is going to be all or nothing. So we run a little bit wide there, pick up a warning. Yeah, second lap, though, is going to be all or nothing here. We need to try and get a mid-25. That's the goal to get into Q3. Sonoda immediately right there. Bit of a ragged run through the second half of the lap. We just can't seem to get this old set of tyres dialed in. So we head through the final corner there. Just nick the curb on the inside. Lance Stroll now, of course, took pole last time out in Canada. As we head up towards the line, though, it's only going to be a 26.8. So we need about, well, at least another second there on this second run. As sorry, Carlos Sainz will take to the escape road through the first couple of turns. But yeah, not ideal. As we head down in towards the final couple of turns then to start our Q2 proper lap. Going to make sure we try and get the best run possible out of this penultimate corner there. But got to be careful because we've got other cars on laps behind. That's really opening up the throttle at the final turn. Let's try and get a good lap here then at Circuit Paul Ricard. 4 seconds left on the clock when we cross over the start-finish line, but braking impossibly late down through turn 1 there. Didn't quite get the car, though, over the apex through turn 2 there. We take a little bit of curb, but get away with it. And unfortunately, yeah, didn't gain as much time over my first run as I would like. There, attack the curbs through the next couple of corners. So we just try and keep it clean and tidy here through this middle sector. Get all over the white line on the exit, but make sure we don't run past it. There's now already almost half second up as we head down the first part of the Mistral Straight here. Like I said, we need about 1.1, 1.2 seconds at very least if we want any chance of making it through into Q3 there, but not the best run through the chicane there. You can see not actually throwing away any time, but not gaining any either, as Antonio Giovinazzi does get out of the way. Of course, home race for Alpine this weekend. I'm sure they'd love to try and get more big points on the board there. It's nice and smooth through turn 9. And then down in towards the technical sector 3 here. It doesn't look difficult on paper, but to really maximise it, you've got to get your lines really, really sorted. So come on, just take all the curb, everything like that. You can see the pace is coming to us, though. So we head down in towards the final few corners here of qualifying for this French Grand Prix. Bit of a lock-in on the left and the right there as we head out of the final corner, though. We are going to be over a second up. Is this enough to see us into Q3? I genuinely don't know whether that was 10th or 11th. It's 11th! No! Oh, we're out of Q2. That must have been impossibly close to the cars around me. What was the gap? Oh, 28 thousandths of a second there to Daniel Ricciardo. But like I said, to be honest, out in Q2 here in Le Castellet is not a bad place to be there because, of course, you get to use the harder tyres early on, stay in the DRS of the cars in front, and then go on to softer rubber right towards the end of qualifying there. A long way ahead of Bottas, Ocon, both Alpines there, and Giovinazzi as well. So maybe this isn't over just yet. Of course, we ended up out in Q1 at Spain and still battled for the race victory. So fingers crossed we can keep it clean, keep it tidy, and try and bring home another good result here at the French Grand Prix. This channel is proudly sponsored by Bybit, the official crypto partner of Red Bull's Formula 1 team. I've been using their platform for my personal crypto savings over the last few months, and when they got in touch to support the channel, I was super, super excited. Currently, they're offering you guys a special new promo for the first 100 of you to deposit $10 or more onto the platform. You'll get another $10 free. Also, 5 lucky winners will get their initial deposit doubled up to $1,000. That means if you deposited $1,000 onto the platform using my codes below, you could be within a chance to get another $1,000 completely free. We've seen the landscape around crypto drastically change over the last couple of years, and I genuinely believe it holds an important place in our future. However, please be careful as always when trading, as you are liable to lose money. But if you're interested and you're 18 or older, click the link down below to get started and see why Red Bull and myself, as well as thousands of others, trust Bybit as their crypto.
Welcome along then to France, host of the world-famous Tour de France. But we're not talking 2 wheels today, we're talking 4, in a country widely thought of as giving birth to the art of motor racing back in the late 1800s. We've come a long way since then, and you're about to find out how far. It's time for the French Grand Prix. We have 15 corners here at the Circuit Paul Ricard, 6 to the left and 9 to the right. The rain is coming down and making for a slippery racing surface, but luckily there is plenty of runoff available, and hopefully we'll be able to avoid bringing out a safety car during today's Grand Prix. Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks for today's race. George Russell will begin today's event from pole position, and Max Verstappen lines up alongside. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Stroll, Perez, Carlos Sainz and Leclerc, Tsunoda, Joe, Mr. Monaco and Valtteri Bottas, Norris, Ocon, Christian Lundgaard and Aitken, Giovinazzi, Mazepin, Mick Schumacher and Callum Ilott, Latifi, Ricciardo. They'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty, Giotto and Robert Schwartzman. It's almost time for those 5 red lights to go out. Then let's see who can prevail today.
Now that we've got some points on the board, let's continue this form and aim for another top 10 finish.
Right, well here we are then, on the grid here in Le Castellet, and a couple of grid penalties has meant we're a little bit further up the order. Unfortunately, my plan though to be on the better strategy won't seem to have come in, because it looks like we're actually going to get a wet to dry race here, so there could be some carnage here in France. I think we just got to try and keep the tyres in good nick, and yeah, see what strategies open up to us today. It's going to be a battle into the unknown here in France, but starting P9, our big title rival George Russell starting on the pole. If he took the win with fastest lap and we finished here, we'd be tied on points heading into round 10 of the year, but fingers crossed that won't be the case. Ready on the grid then, waiting on those 5 red lights, and it's going to be lights out, and away we go. And let's not pretend I was ever going to get a good start here. So we head down towards turn 1. Bottas and Lando Norris there, and maybe one of the Aston Martins as someone. Giovinazzi has a look up the inside there. I don't know why I resorted to singing through that first corner. Just desperately didn't want to lose my front wing. As you cannot use the battery at the start of this race. They've got to try and get heat into the tyres. As Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz side by side, and we'll say thank you very much. A lot of cars tripping up underneath them, and suddenly, oh, a little bit of contact with Tsunoda. Come on, get the power down, please. Suddenly, yeah, we're back up to where we started then in this Grand Prix. They're back into P9 as we make a bit of a hash of the run out onto Mistral Straight there. Luckily, Bottas behind us couldn't really do a lot either there. Just got stuck with the gearbox of our car, but looks like George Russell still leads the way there. Our teammate Max Verstappen, desperately want to see him have a good weekend here. Currently up in P2, but he's ran in good positions before this season, and it still somehow ends up going wrong for him. Lance Stroll in the podium places, just ahead of Sergio Perez, and then we have got both Ferraris, Zhou Guanyu, Tsunoda, myself and Valtteri Bottas rounding out the top 10, so not much movement going on inside the top 10 early on in this race, but that's only on paper. As we head through the final sector though, got to try and get these wet tyres up into the groove. Lacked pace in qualifying. Will it be the same story in the race? Just see on the mini-map, George Russell trying to extend his advantage at the front of the field here, but we're all over the back of Yuki Tsunoda. Mercedes have shown strong signs of pace, or flashes of it, this year. Canada probably last time had the best example of that, but look at that, getting a really nice run actually onto the second part of the Mistral Straight there. We're going to have a look to the inside of Tsunoda. Fingers crossed he's seen me in his mirrors. And yes, he does. Gives me the room, but sticks it round the outside through at turn 9 there. Brave, brave move by the young Japanese driver. But let's be fair, he's always known in Formula 1 as one that's a bit of a risk taker and never makes a move easy for someone if they want to get around him. This all goes even faster at the front of the field, but we are just stuck a little bit behind Tsunoda early on in this race. This time around, he's definitely aware of it's going to go defensive back down towards turn 1. We'll go super late on the brakes there, get it slowed down. We'll go right around the outside of Yuki through turn 1, nice so move. 3 laps in. Team 11 that, finally starting to make some progress in this race as well, which is the most important thing. Always a bit of a slow starter in these Grand Prix, but we do get into the groove. The real thing early on in this GP is just about trying to keep the tyres in good shape, because we don't know when the weather is going to change there. Look at the way the AlphaTauri picks up speed. So we head back down towards turn 1.
5.6 seconds.
5 seconds the gap between myself and Max early on there, but Russell is definitely just pulling away a little bit from my teammates, taking a bit of a different line to Zhou Guanyu through the first couple of turns. Can we have a look around the outside? No, just couldn't quite get it slowed down there, and we won't claim the place because of it. Not too sure what the young Chinese driver's doing though. He's all over the road, and that's cost us both a lot of time to Carlos Sainz there, so I think both of us struggling to put the power down.
Fuel. Start lifting and coasting. Let's conserve what we have left.
But, I mean, we're going to let Zhou hold on to the place for now, but we're hardly going to let him, you know, sort of withstand attack for too long in this Grand Prix. Is closing back in on the Chinese driver once more. Can we try and put the power down off the exit of this corner? Try and go for a similar move as what we attempted on Sonoda. Can we get a big run this time round? Then we're going to have a look to the inside of Zhou Guanyu, and this time round we really got our elbows out. Force him just a little bit wide there. A very aggressive move, but a fair one, I want to say. And now up to 7th.
Good job. That was the fastest lap of the race so far.
Well, that was completely unexpected to me, but we do set new fastest lap then of the Grand Prix here. Starting to close in on Sainz.
On the car behind.
Okay, apparently we are pretty quick then at the moment. That's what I love to see. You know, we've got to try and get this car back up to where it should be in this race. I think, to be honest, I accidentally left a bit of a wet setup on the car after free practice, hence why we might have struggled a little bit more in qualifying and might be doing pretty well early on in this Grand Prix there as we head back out onto the Mistral Straight.
I don't think we have cause to move onto a different tyre yet.
Team don't think it's ready for the intermediates just yet, but I can't imagine we're too many laps away. As we try and stay close to Carlos Sainz here. Can we get a good run at the chicane once more? The AI take a lot of curb on the way in, and it really just compromises their ability to get on the power on the way out there. And again, the Scarlet Ferrari just gets a whole lot bigger in front of us. Up the inside we go. Oh, neither Sainz right. Wanted to give an inch there as we head through the tight right-hander. Often quite a fast-flowing corner, but not today. Really got to be brave through there. And Sainz hangs on for now. GG's to the Spaniard. Sainz just braking a little bit early there.
Perez, they have an issue with their car. They're going to be slow.
So Perez then might be about to start dropping back in this GP in his Red Bull. Not what they need as they try to extend their lead in the Constructors' Championship. But yeah, we've still got to try and look for a move on Carlos. As immediately I say that, get a really nice run actually off the first couple of corners there. Sainz! Oh! Sainz there tried to swipe across me as then he sits on the apex of the second part of the... What? Is it a chicane? Is it an S section? I don't really know. But Sainz getting the elbows out early on then. And can we now get a run on the Spaniard as we head once more out onto the Mistral Straight? They're going to have to use a lot of battery. It's costing both of us a lot of time to the cars around us. Is Sainz going to go defensive? Can we have a look to the inside? No. Sainz goes really defensive, but we get the car right around the outside of him. And so much later on the brakes there, we still were able to hit the apex. GG's, but we will have the place.
You made it look easy.
And that is one of the times in F1 where I genuinely felt I did make that look easy, because right around the outside of Sainz, and still got it slowed down perfectly.
A new strategy is available on the MFD.
Oh, new strat coming in from the team. Is it Inters? No, it isn't. I thought we might be looking toward intermediate tyres here, as you can already see Leclerc getting a bit slowed up by Perez. There was Rebron just a little bit wide out on the exit of turn 9, but yeah, Leclerc now practically pushing Perez along. Surely he wants to try and navigate the Mexican as soon as possible. Oh, there we go. Perez and Leclerc into the pits, and I'm actually, at the very last moment there, going to try and follow him in. What am I... Can I change the tyres? Please come and say I can change the tyres. Yes, we can change the tyres.
Safety car is out. We need you to reduce your pace. It looks like there's a high amount of debris on the track.
I'm so sorry, Zhou Guanyu. I must have accidentally brake checked in there as I panicked, trying to put new tyres on the car there for the pit window. Oh, dearie me, I am not the most intelligent person. Come on, go, please. But this has really changed up the race kind of dramatically there. We're now going to be out on a fresh set of tyres.
Stop today. One stop left in our strategy.
So I just grazed the Armco on the pit exit,
Okay,
but...
slow down.
Oh no, we're not
Delta
going to
is
gain anything, are we?
Which means you are too fast. Reduce your pace.
There's the safety car, but of course everyone else has still got a lap to close at the Delta once more. So we're not really going to gain out of this. I thought maybe Leclerc, Perez and I could have been right at the front, but no. Oh, there we go. Safety car Delta has disappeared then. So where are we going to re-emerge in this Grand Prix? And are we still seeing some alternate strategies coming into play here? Hopefully we're going to be out ahead of the McLaren there, or Bottas, which we just are. So still only back down to P9. But there are a few cars, annoyingly, Verstappen is one of them, that haven't pit. And I do not know why. There we go. All those other cars that should have pit a couple of laps ago have now boxed in. So Verstappen is going to basically now be at the rear of the field in this Grand Prix. I do not know what our teammate can do to get some luck this season. But it is going to promote me up now into, I think, P5 then of the Grand Prix. So I guess we can't complain too much. I just want to see Verstappen getting some good results in this season there. But yeah, George Russell now leads ahead of Stroll, Perez, Leclerc and myself. Oh! Russell! Russell's out of the Grand Prix! What's going on down at Red Bull? It's been Perez with the issues up to now. But Russell pulling off on the inside there, and our big championship rival out here in the Castellet there. That must be heartbreaking for him and Red Bull. And now Lance Stroll, could he get some redemption for last weekend? Stroll now leads. Right, end of lap 11 then, almost at the halfway stage of this Grand Prix. And Lance Stroll is going to lead the way there, but plenty of drama. The two cars that were leading this race, George Russell and Max Verstappen, both out, or out of contention for now, under the safety car there. So Stroll, the Canadian, is going to take us away once more here in Le Castellet. But we're now up to 4th then in this Grand Prix, seemingly out of nowhere. Still would like to apologise to Zhou Guan Yu for maybe completely ruining his afternoon. For that I do apologise, but now we've got to try and get these tyres up to temperature and try and hang close to the cars in front. As immediately not getting the best run out onto the Mistral straight here. Here comes Valtteri Bottas as we head down here, as here comes Lando Norris as well. We're going to be 3 wide in towards the chicane there. Norris is going to try and keep the nose up the inside. Can he make a double overtake there? No, not quite. Does go round Bottas. Never known for his wheel-to-wheel contact. Bottas. Come on, Jeff, I want to say something. Bottas, never known for his wheel-to-wheel racing in Formula 1, and unfortunately there, loses at the place, so the car he probably least expected to. However, 2 seconds now already back from Charles Leclerc. We need to get our head down.
A new strategy is available on the MFD.
Team still reckon we're going to have to go on to another set of inters before the end of this Grand Prix, but now we're starting to fly. I always have said put my strongest on a drying Formula 1 circuit. Just always seems to be where, even in league racing in the past, I seem to have my pace advantage over other competitors. And at the moment then, now the gap really coming down rather quickly to Leclerc.
Then we think it's going to dry up.
So then, the question will be, what tyres do we move on to in the dry period if it dries up quick enough? So far, I thought this track would dry up much faster than it has. I thought by halfway through we'd be back on dries, but apparently not. And now we're just studying Charles Leclerc here, seeing where he's strong and where he's not around this lap. He's definitely strong through there, stuck in the dirty air. He's not going to be able to make anything work. Had one of the best battles through there with Sainz though earlier on in this race. Is our Charles Leclerc just kicking out the back end a little bit as we head through the next couple of corners. We can definitely try and line up a move here sooner rather than later, because Stroll and Perez at the front just starting to put a little bit away from Charles Leclerc at the moment, I fear. The gap's not going up by much, but it's definitely enough to get me concerned. There's a really nice drive actually at the final corner, but that Ferrari, Italian ponies, sometimes you just can't beat them as we head back down towards turn 1.
Behind by 0.5 per lap.
Charles Leclerc hangs on there, parks it beautifully through the first corner as we aggressively try and put the power down out of turn 2. But again, nothing happening just yet. Leclerc a little bit offline, but just putting the car where he needs to at the moment, and we can't do anything about it. Now we might be able to get a run down the Mistral straight there. Charles Leclerc moves around a little bit down the straightaways. We're going to be pretty even on the brakes. We get a warning there for a collision with Charles. It's definitely not my intention. Felt like he moved around a little bit too much. Oh, come on, put the power down.
Looks like some of those puddles are clearing. We're still on the right tyre for the time being, but we're not a million miles away from slick conditions.
That's what I want to hear. But Perez, yeah, now really trying to apply pressure to Stroll in the lead. Can we close up? And that is not going to help me there. Charles Leclerc might be able to have a look back at the inside. But no. Oh, okay. Track is not dry enough yet, surely, for dry tyres. It's still raining. That can't be right. They cannot be thinking it's time already for dry tyres in this race. I do not believe there is enough grip left on this circuit just yet. I'm not boxing at the end of this lap. There is no way this is dry enough. It's still raining. Why do the team in the FIA think it's dry? Oh, look at that. Those Stroll and Perez are into the pits. Maybe I have made a mistake then in this GP, as we've got yellow flags out. Someone else is going slowly. No idea what that's all about. Oh, it's one of the Alpines.
Looks like it's
might be
probably
out.
About time we change tyres. It's a bit of a crossover period for sure, but the longer we stay out, the worse it's going to get.
Right, okay, so team do want us in then. Verstappen are going to effectively let him have a free stop. Well, not a free stop, but a much easier stop in this race. Stroll and Perez still now P2 and P3. Jeff, I get what's going on, mate. But yeah, I'm not convinced we're going to lose out much by doing this. And everyone else actually going on to mediums then to the end. Our team wanted us to go softs, which might have been an aggressive choice. Looking at the Delta, I might have made a bit of a mistake then, because Lance Stroll's already taken well over a second out of me on this lap. We just got to keep it calm, keep focused, and bring this thing back to the pit lane. But now I'm starting to wonder, actually, whether the team might have had an idea putting us on softs to the end. If we're going to lose a bit of Delta here, we may as well try and be uber aggressive on the strategy right the way through to the end of the race. I was going to go mediums, but you know what? 9 laps on a set of softs isn't impossible around here. Is, yeah, definitely. Should have come in the end of last lap. I didn't expect the rain just to stop on the track to immediately dry out. So we head down in towards the final couple of corners here. Get it slowed down nice and tidy. And yeah, I don't know where we're going to re-emerge then in this Grand Prix. We might actually lose a lot of places looking at that. There is a huge gaggle of cars there. I guess they all tripped over each other in the pit lane. So it might have given us a small advantage momentarily. But now you can see the likes of Stroll coming around the final corner. They're about to fly past me here. So this might have been quite a bad gamble then in this Grand Prix. Didn't think we'd lose this much, as 2.9 seconds there. Perez trading fastest lap. We've actually got a few cars on soft compound tyres, so they might have to pit again before the end of this race, as we're going to come out right alongside Zhou Guanyu, who just slots in front of me through turn 1. But now we've got to try and get these tyres up to temperature, and immediately look at the grip we've got over the Alpha Tauri. To the inside we look. No. Zhou Guanyu going to hang on for now, but surely we'll get the DRS on him out onto the back straight here. But I said we would hate to finish P9 in this Grand Prix with 9 laps to go. That's exactly where we still are in this race. His fingers crossed this should be a nice textbook move on Zhou Guanyu. Activate the DRS there. To the inside we go. Thought for a second he might move to the inside there, but we do slot past him. And now back up into P8. Giovinazzi up next. Also on a set of mediums. Surely we can close up to these guys. We've just got to start ticking cars off the list. Perez sets a 128 there. Esteban Ocon in his Aston Martin, though, setting fast lap of the day. As we go purple sector 2. Was helped with the DRS from Zhou Guanyu, but yeah, taking time out of Antonio Giovinazzi here. Got a fine balance between using all of this rubber on these tyres, but not using it all too soon. But once we get back up to that big gaggle of cars up the road, might just be a bit difficult there. Stuck in the DRS range. You can see just how much time we've taken out of Gio in the first part of this lap there. Purple through the first sector. Are we going to be able to get close enough to the Italian to make a move as we head down the back straight away? Gaining on the Alpine at their home event. And to the outside, sorry, of Giovinazzi. And a bit like we did to Sainz there, brakes so much later into that chicane that we still were able to clip the apex. Ocon sets a 28.4 that time round. We, however, blow that out of the park. 27.2.
On the softs, gap to teammate behind is 7.5 seconds.
As I'm definitely not pitting again between now and the end of the Grand Prix, so maybe some of the other soft runners are going to have to box before this race ends. But currently, there's 8 cars from 8 different teams inside the top 8 here in Le Castellet. I mean, that front six is separated by all of about 2 seconds. I said at the start of the year we were going to see an unprecedented level of parity in Formula 1. This is like the 2022 regs on steroids as Perez tries to have a look past Lance Stroll in towards the chicane there. That's going to back up that whole group, but Stroll hangs on. Oh, and there we go. Looks like Bottas and Ocon are both going to have to dive into the pits then at the end of lap 22. So a lot of the other soft runners don't believe they can see the race out then on these tyres. But Stroll is still desperately hanging on ahead of Sergio Perez. Team on us in at the end of this one, but we are definitely going to be ignoring that. But yeah, just a reminder, if Stroll was to win this Grand Prix, he'd be our 7th different winner this year and our 6th team. In 9 races. We've seen Ferrari win, of course, us and Red Bull have won. We've also seen AlphaTauri and McLaren take victories this year. So if Stroll wins this, 7 winners from 6 different teams this year, I think we'd be getting close to an F1 record. And there we go, lap 24. Perez has taken the lead away from Lance Stroll there. Can the Mercedes hang close, or is Sergio going to become our 2nd repeat winner of the year here? Looks like immediately he's been able to get a little bit of a gap over Stroll, but we are just starting to struggle to close in on these guys as quickly as I would like to now, with 3 laps to go here in Le Castellet. We've got yellow flags out. Is Carlos Sainz dropping to the wayside now in this French Grand Prix there? Is Stroll going to be able to get a run? No, Schwartzman's out as well.
Looking to push for a safety car right now. Just be careful.
What's going on? Sainz and Schwartzman out of the Grand Prix with just 2.5 laps to go here. Heartbreak for the two. Well, Ferrari driving a Ferrari Academy driver, as Stroll is all over the back of Checo still, but that time round could not get a run down the back straight, as we managed to get the DRS this time, but just are not making an impact on this top 4. 2 laps to go then here from Le Castellet, and this time around you can see Stroll all over Checo's gearbox once more, as we're just making a hash of that first sector. Just blend out the throttle slightly there so we don't gain an advantage from it. But is Stroll now going to be able to make a move work on Sergio Perez here? How is this going to bunch up the rest of us in this gaggle of cars? Stroll moves to the outside of Checo, down the back straight there, and swoops around the outside to re-inherit the lead of this French Grand Prix there. And Stroll, of course, took this race victory all the way back in Season 1. Could we see a double race winner on F1 2021 as Lance Stroll there, 6 years apart at exactly the same venue? What a story that would be in this career mode. But he's got 1 more lap to hang on. It would also be Mercedes' first win in as long as I can remember on F1 2021 as well. But as we head down in towards the final lap then of this Grand Prix, has got a little bit of a gap over Sergio Perez, but we need to focus as well. We've got 1 more lap to try and use this slightly fresher, slightly quicker rubber. Don't think we're really getting much of a grip premium over the rest of the field now. On to the final lap we go then of the French Grand Prix here in Le Castellet. Paul Ricard.
Final lap of the race.
And Stroll, as we head back down towards turn 1, has still got a few car lengths over Sergio Perez. It's all about the run though, out onto the back straightaway here, as Stroll, like I said, took a shock victory. Aston Martin's only win, I want to say, of this series back in Season 1 here. It was a shock, but like I said, it was because of the alternate strategy you can do starting outside of the top 10. And I think, looking at it, Stroll has got a big enough margin as we head out onto the Mistral Straight for the final time in this Grand Prix there. Perez and Leclerc both trying to close up on the Canadian. He might have thrown away the race victory last time round in his home event there, but I'm sure Mercedes would be happy enough to try and steal away the win today. I said early on in this Grand Prix, Mercedes have shown flashes of brilliance this season. Canada was probably the best example of that. But today, as we head round the final sector in Le Castellet, it might be Mercedes for the first time, I want to say, since Season 5? Might even be Season 4, that we see Mercedes back on top here in Formula 1, rounding the final few corners of the French Grand Prix. He won it back in Season 1 6 years ago in this My Team career mode, but Lance Stroll rounds the final corner. He's once again back on top in Formula 1, putting Mercedes back where they believe they belong. Stroll is our 7th winner, for our 6th team this season. How crazy is this?
That's the end of the race. We'll see you in Parc Fermé.
A great race then, and a fantastic victory here at Paul Ricard. And talk to me, what do you think it was that sealed the win for them?
Well, the safety car completely changed the race, didn't it? It's hard to say exactly what would have happened without it, but there's no question that they came out of that situation in a good position.
And I can see the drivers starting to approach the podium for the victory celebrations. A real team victory today. Everybody played their part. Congratulations then to Mercedes, your race winners today. Mr. Monaco increases their championship lead. After an incredible day of racing, who was your driver of the day, Ant?
Daniel Ricciardo certainly impressed me today, an incredible performance.
It's time to see how things are shaping up in the Constructors' Championship. Red Bull pull further ahead in the standings. Meanwhile, good work from Aston Martin this weekend, who pushed themselves further up the order. It's been an absolutely wild weekend of Formula One action. I can't wait to see what's next.
I cannot believe it. Lance Stroll, 6 seasons later, back on top here in La Castellet. I often forget a lot of facts and figures from this career mode, but that win for Stroll really did stick in my mind there. Sergio Perez, though, P2 means, 9 races in, 7 different winners, of course. We've taken 3 race victories this year. Stroll now has a win. Perez has a win. Leclerc has a win. Lando Norris has a win. I, of course, have a win. George Russell has a win. And then we've also got... it's worrying already that I'm forgetting someone this year. Myself, both Red Bulls, Leclerc, Stroll, Lando Norris... And who am I forgetting? Someone else has definitely won a race this year. We've had, 7 winners now, isn't it? This year. They're Daniel Ricciardo, of course, in his McLaren as well there. It's just insanity this season. Our sixth different team as well to take home a race victory. Mercedes now have 1. Red Bull have 2. We have 3. Ferrari, AlphaTauri, McLaren, and Mercedes now also have a win this year. So just insane figures coming from this championship there. Leclerc gets another podium, though, ahead of Lando Norris there. 1.9 seconds separate the top 4 at the end of the day. We come through for a 5th, a decent recovery, but could have had a lot more there. But, of course, with Russell DNFing, we do further extend our lead in the championship. Zhou Guanyu in 6th ahead of Giovinazzi there. 2 very good performances by them. Verstappen did recover to points in the end, which is better than he's done a lot this season, with Ricciardo and Tsunoda rounding out your top 10 there. You can see the rest of your finishers. Sainz and Schwartzman did get classified, and George Russell out of the French Grand Prix there. Means championship-wise, 35 points the gap at the top opens up to there, as Charles Leclerc, ever consistent, 6 points behind Sergio Perez at this stage of the game. Lando jumps Tsunoda. Stroll now leapfrogs his way back up into 7th place there, as Ricciardo loses out a whole heap of places. Him, Gio, and Ricciardo, just 2 points separating those 3 drivers. No other movers, though, further down the order. Constructors-wise, though, Red Bull just open up the gap slightly at the end of the weekend. They're 12 points now as we head in towards the next couple of Grand Prix. That AlphaTauri re-jump McLaren as well in what is looking like quite a hotly contested battle for P6 in the Constructors there. But 6 different teams with race victories this year. An absolutely insane stat in this career mode there. And I mean, like I said, Verstappen hopefully will get a race victory by the end of the year, so we could be looking at least 8 different winners in this campaign there. Tsunoda might be able to win a race. Could we get nearly 10 race victories, 10 different, race victors this year? We'll just have to wait and see. But thank you all so much for watching this video. If you have enjoyed, please do make sure to leave a like and get yourself subscribed, and we will be back very, very soon. Ready? I think we're heading back to Silverstone, so our 3rd Crown Jewel event of the season there, a 100% race around the British Grand Prix. You guys definitely want to get yourself subscribed so you don't miss that. None of these videos would be possible without the help of our channel members, so a massive thank you to all of the names you see on your screens currently for helping support the channel. You can join them by clicking the join button down below, and thank you once again to everyone that continues all the insane support on my work.